Hello, and welcome to the RSG Podcast, episode 71?
72,
72?
I think.
Between there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
72.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's probably 71.
It is 71, because 69 was our last video. And
Oh, okay.
We had one other audio.
All right, then, yeah.
Today, we are discussing movies from 2015. Top, bottom, and mentions. And
Yep.
they have some other stuff that they want to discuss, worst plot and stuff like that. But we have a couple guests with us today. We have Mo here, who is Roby's roommate. We also have Kayleen, who is Connor's roommate.
Say hi, fuckers.
Say slash.
Hi, fuckers.
Hello, fuckers.
So we'll just go ahead and get right to it. Who's ready to start with their top?
70 podcasts, really? No one wants to listen to you do 70 fucking podcasts.
Oh, well, you know what?
You'd be
At least
surprised.
one or two people.
Yeah, there's some people.
Count.
You're right, she doesn't.
You're right.
She's not on that
She's
list.
not on the list.
She's not on that list of one or two people. But, Roby, let's start with your top movies, because I'm interested to know what you thought was best.
Okay, I have, in no particular order, my
Okay.
top three movies.
Mm-hmm.
Sicario, Mad Max, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. No particular order. Those are my top three movies of the year.
Fascinating. Okay. No particular order. Is that because they're tied, or is it because you just don't feel like choosing one?
Because I don't feel like choosing one.
Okay, so
If
choose
I-
one.
If I had to choose one, it would be hard to do, but I would say maybe Mad Max, like
Really?
overall
Yeah.
over the other two. Yeah, I think, like, especially given the fact that, like, it's still getting talked about this late in the year when it came out so long ago, really proves that it was a really good movie and still getting buzz and all that. And I enjoyed the plot line, I enjoyed the action. It was one of those movies like you sit through and by the end you're like, you don't even realize it's been so long. There's some movies you watch, even if you enjoy them, you're still checking your phone. 2 hours, I gotta pee soon or whatever. But there's no time for that in Mad Max.
Right.
So they do a good job of like just grabbing you, taking you into their world full force.
Fair enough. I agree with some of those.
Okay.
Let's
Well,
start-
you never bothered to see Sicario.
I did not bother to see Sicario.
You should, because it was like some of the scenes were so tense in Sicario. The director did a good job of like drumming up the tension and building that tension that I think you'd enjoy for that.
Well, I mean, there's movies where I like really intense scenes. My favorite in recent memory is probably Fury.
Yeah, this is very similar to that in that like they do that good of a job of like making you feel the tension in the scene.
I'll check it out. I did not watch it this year, so I can't put it on any of my list, unfortunately. But I don't know. I agree with Mad Max being in your top three.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your top three?
No, you want me to go next?
Yeah, go next.
My top three, again, Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
For the same reasons that you yourself said. Amazing acting, amazing scenes, amazing action, pretty good plot line and story, and just some of the, like, I don't know, some of the best, like, well thought out, well fleshed out world that they had was just some of the best I've ever seen in any movie. So yeah, that's pretty much at my top. The next one is He Never Died.
Okay.
I just watched that last night, so technically I watched it post 2015. However, it was a movie that came out in 2015.
All right.
So
I'm gonna let you slide on that.
that was just an absolutely fantastic movie. I haven't seen a movie that good in a very long time.
I concur with you. I really do. But
Like, it's up. I would probably it probably just inches out Mad Max by just a tad bit, and that's because they did so much with far less, and I really enjoyed it for that reason. My third one is actually American Ultra. I've seen that movie 3 times, and I like it more every single time I watch it.
You've seen it 3 times?
I've seen it 3 times.
I think I've seen it twice.
I watched it
I've
once
seen
with
it
you
twice.
guys.
Yeah, I went to
I
the theater. and
watched it once on my own, and then I watched it again when Kayleen and I went to visit some friends. And I really, really like that movie. It gets better and better every single time. And there's a
good.
lot of nuances in there you don't catch the first time through. So that, the second
I'll have
watch.
to watch it again.
Yeah, absolutely should. Absolutely should.
I think it's Topher Grace. I think it's like his best work.
Oh,
Honestly,
yeah.
honest to God, this is the role he was meant for.
Yeah.
Because he's perfect as that like
Intelligent
up and coming young cocky asshole guy who thinks he's fucking invincible and thinks he's got all the best ideas and he knows what he needs to do to get it all or whatever. It's his best work.
Any
ever.
movie that like makes me like Kristen Stewart as an actress,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah, I had no complaints about her.
Right?
I was like, I'm
She was
actually
a-
okay
she
with
was a-
everything she's doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She had a great character. She was perfect for the role. And like for once, I wasn't going. She's just annoying me. Seeing her is annoying me. That didn't happen at all in this movie, which is pretty impressive. So.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget about John Leguizamo's small but very important role in that movie.
The best in that.
Yeah, he was hilarious. Rose. Nuh-uh.
I could probably break this lock. Please don't.
Yeah, but no, I like I said, I saw it 3 times, liked it more every single time. So that made my top 3 list.
Yeah, that's fair.
It edged out Star Wars actually. I'll get to more to that later.
Okay.
But yeah, let's go with Ryan's top 3.
Mine is kind of similar. I mean, Mad Max was one of my favorites. I really enjoyed it, but I was a huge fan of the original Mad Max films, even as cheesy as they are. So when I heard they were coming out with a new one, and then that it was actually good, I was like, all right. So to me, it was one of my favorite. But I like The Martian a lot. I enjoyed that one a lot. It was funny. I mean, it dealt with a lot of science, but I never really felt like I was stupid when I'm watching it. Because like a lot of those, well, I mean, they kind of explain it to you in a way you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But I mean, a lot of those movies where they'll make you, when they're doing all this math or all this stuff, you're just kind of like, I have no idea.
Did you feel stupid when you watched Interstellar?
A little bit. Yeah, I'm like gravity and time. I'm like, I like the movie. It was awesome, but I'm like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But and then it's kind of tied between Star Wars and It Follows, because I mean, It Follows was fun. I liked it. It was a good one.
Tied with Star Wars.
Well, Star Wars is one of those movies where you know what it's about, you know what it's gonna be. So I mean, like, it couldn't really be the top for me. It's like the same reason I didn't put like Avengers up at the top, because like, it's gonna make lots of money. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna really enjoy it. It's gonna be fun. But I don't know if it's really like best movie of the year type quality stuff. So
Saying you're a movie hipster because you don't want to like the big budget movies.
maybe.
I think it wasn't like it didn't really do like other than adding the vision. It was basically exactly what we'd already seen for the most part, which is fine. I understand that's what we're getting or whatever, but. No, I agree with Ron. Like, I don't think it was one of the best movies of the year.
You keep saying this, and yet Star Wars is in your top 3, which is literally just The New Hope again.
Oh my God, spoilers. The hand has come out.
Okay.
He has paused and no speaking.
It's not the same. We will address this at a later date.
Okay.
And like 5 minutes later.
Right, like shortly we will address this.
But yeah, so those are it. It Follows to me was like, it was nice to see a horror movie that wasn't just god awful.
Yeah.
Because the majority of horror movies you
yeah.
watch are just shit, and this one wasn't. This
It was
one
really
actually
good.
Yeah.
Well, it was. What I really liked about It Follows was that it was smart. It was smart in how it achieved its goal of like scaring you, or at least building a tension that was like palpable and just you always like, and it didn't just go to the jump scares hardly at all.
Right. There's
it
just
was
a couple times where it hit you, but one thing I really liked too, sorry to interrupt you, but was that in the majority of the horror films you see, a lot of times in the beginning it's super suspenseful, super tense and everything else, but by the end of it you've seen the creature so much that it's just, and then it's gotten so much better at what it was doing earlier that it took it forever to kill everybody, you know. So this one was the same, like every time the creature came around it was like the same, like you could count on it not coming immediately. Like you knew you had some breathing time, but it could still be there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like it was running super fast and breaking its own rules and stuff.
No, it was a lot of pressure. It was like just this endless pressure. I really, really liked It Follows, and I don't like horror movies as a general rule.
It's really good.
So yeah,
But it also seemed intellectual
yeah.
compared to like some horror movies where it's just kind of like I don't want to say dumb, but they're just out to kill. But
A lot of them are just gore porn.
Yeah.
They're just gore porn.
Yeah.
There are a lot of horror movies that are just gore porn.
Well, and like, you know, when you said intelligent, I mean, the people use their brains to try to survive. They didn't just like run around screaming.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
they like, you know, we're going to try this plan. We don't understand about how electricity works and outlets and stuff and your pools work now, but we're going to try this anyway. We're going to try to shock this.
Well, and not every motherfucker was dead at the end of it.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
that's pretty different for a horror flick.
Right.
But they didn't all need to be dead to create that suspense, to create that horror. Just very smart. Very
Yeah.
smart.
Well, I think they did a great job of like.
Not letting you know what year it was.
Yeah. Not letting you know. It was very anachronistic because you couldn't tell. Like.
Wait, why was that important? I haven't seen it.
It's not really important.
It's not really
just
important, but it
interesting.
adds to the overall like ambiance of the movie of you like not really understanding what's going on, and that's sort of adding to your overall sense of dread as these things happen.
Like it
Are
just
people not like using cell phones in the movie, or they're not on their personal hoverboards?
No, and they have they're in the room. They don't have flat screen TVs. They got like literally like 1980s TVs sitting on
big
chairs.
old
The decor,
Like
the
big old
decor in
tube
the house
TVs,
was
like-
very 80s and like
Yeah. But the cars
were modern
are all
day
like
cars.
relatively modern day cars.
And it was
And one of the
post
chick has like
Detroit.
like nobody else has a cell phone, but one of the chicks has an e-reader of some sort that's like a shell
like a Kindle.
that she's
Yeah.
scrolling through and looking at the
A
whole
shell
time.
Kindle?
It's like
Yeah,
a shell Kindle
yeah, it's
thing.
like a
It's
flip out.
it's weird.
So,
But that's the only like sort of electronic device that anyone in the movie has.
it was a very time wise it was very confusing. It did a really it went out of its way to like honestly just I don't want to say confuse you.
To be time agnostic?
yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But you guys are touting that as a good thing.
It was in this case because it caused you that confusion because you never really like notice it. I mean, you do occasionally here and there, but it's not highlighted. So, but that like confusion in the background of your brain like puts more pressure on the movie.
Yeah.
So because you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, and at no point in time do you go, well, this could never happen in 2015 because they just call someone on their cell phone or whatever. Or this could never happen then, or this could never happen then, or whatever. They didn't have that back then or whatever. So it sort of like takes you out of time because you don't know when it is exactly.
Yeah.
But like she's driving a modern day Honda Civic.
And they're only
Yeah.
watching like 50s black and white movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they always have like a 50s black and white movie on TV all the
Seems
time.
Weird.
It was.
And the clothing is kind of
Yeah.
like a little bit, so you're
At first,
puzzled.
It's very 70s almost, but then at the same time.
Right, that could easily
Yeah.
be.
at first I was
Maybe
like,
it's just Potomac, Wisconsin.
at first I was a little put off by it, but the more that I like thought about it, the more that I like looked back on it, I was like, this actually really worked for that movie.
Yeah,
So yeah.
agreed.
So yeah, that's why it's you know
I think it deserves to be there.
yeah
I got no argument with you.
yeah.
All right.
What about the guests?
Yeah. What do you guys got for?
Bone Tomahawk.
See, I have not watched that yet.
Bone Tomahawk
Kurt
is
Russell,
amazing.
Patrick Wilson, and Matthew Fox, the guy from Lost. 80% of the movie is like a friendly, well-written comedy, kind of family-friendly play style, where something bad happens, they're gonna go track down the bad guys. They form a posse. There's a lot of like camaraderie and interpersonal play, and it's just a good time. It's not boring at all for being family-friendly, whatever. And then the last 20% of the movie where the action happens, where they get to the crux of it all. Holy shit.
This is a lot of
The
gore.
action scenes are very brutal. There's not
the
there's not a lot of
contrast.
gore, but it's very brutal.
Right, the stark contrast between what you've been given and then what you get
Yeah,
is
Sounds
intense.
yeah.
a little bit, and just the contrast portion of it, not so much the actual like movie, but that same sort of contrast reminds me of Dusk Till Dawn. Had that same sort of feeling where it starts off
Right.
as this like, you know,
Yeah.
Like a story,
Like
yeah.
a heist type.
Like a heist type
Yeah.
flick.
like a heist type jailbreak kind of smart like
Yeah, these two
drama.
brothers are gonna escape
Yeah.
or whatever. Drama.
suspension, and then all of a sudden it's just a straight out gore flick with vampires
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It literally is two movies sewn together.
yeah, it is, and I love it.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it for it.
yeah,
Few movies can do that. Like Full Metal Jacket did that really well.
yeah.
Yeah, Full Metal Jacket is in
Yeah.
the same, very much in the same vein, really.
Yeah, but Full Metal Jacket was obviously a full like written from. I mean, the two halves of the movie are very different.
Oh, yeah.
But it's clearly like telling the same story.
Yeah.
But Tarantino and Rodriguez got together. Tarantino had half an idea about a heist movie, and Rodriguez had half an idea about a vampire movie, and they were just like, let's just let's just put it together and make this movie. And they're like, okay, go.
Mush the
Fantastic.
And they made it.
All right. Hun?
Well, he only said one.
Oh, did you have more?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Mad Max. That was definitely the big movie for this year that I just had to see in the movies.
Don't look at my screen.
Just for the action, it looked very. Just. I don't want to say eye rapey, but just like to me, anything visual, I'm just like, I want to go see it.
It was very beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful movie.
I like eye rapey.
I like what you said about how He Never Died held your attention in the same way that Mad Max did, but did it with like $1.50 budget as opposed to $150 million.
Yeah, it really did.
Like, because Mad Max got you through it because it was insane.
Yeah.
It was
like,
just
over the top.
insane. All of the
Practical
stuff that's
effects.
going on. Yeah, like
Well,
guys swinging from the tops of these moving cars. The dude playing the guitar that spews fire.
That was fantastic.
There's no point to it, but it's awesome.
I actually read an article where the director talked about why he chose somebody actually playing a guitar and like drums and stuff, because he said a lot of times when you have your soldiers and you're marching them to battle in the old days, they would have like reveille and trumpet sounds.
Yeah,
and stuff like
yeah.
that. He's like, but that doesn't make any sense when you have a bunch of metal and cars and gasoline. He's like, so you had to have something
Metal
that could
music.
grab them, that could go through all that, cut all that, and still drive you
Yeah,
towards
it
that
still
scene.
drive you to. Yeah.
And he's like, and it just made sense that it was like a metal band.
It was
Yeah.
fantastic. But all right, let's go to the bottom three.
Worst 3 movies.
Worst 3 movies. Let's start
Okay.
with Ryan this time.
All right. For me, my worst 3 movies, Jupiter Ascending, which is horrible. I didn't really expect a whole lot, but like it was even like when I watched it, I was just like, there's absolutely no way my least expectations could be at least met. Like it was below that when I saw it. I'm just like, this is just a gigantic budget failure, just right there.
They spent the budget. They spent all of it on CGI.
Oh yeah.
They didn't spend any of it on writing
No.
or plot line or any sort of like
Meaningful
good,
character development.
right, or any sort of reshoots of scenes that were obviously horrible.
And hiring Mila Kunis.
Right.
Sean Bean did not die, and I'm not okay with that.
Sean Bean.
Yeah, should have died.
Yeah. Another one is Tomorrowland. Now, I went into this one without reading anything about it, without doing any kind of research, because, like, granted, it's just a ride at Epcot Center, but the whole concept and what you could do with Tomorrowland and Disney and their whole thought process, now I thought this is going to be amazing. No, it wasn't. I get in there and, like, 2/3 of the way through the movie, you're just kind of like, has it started? Like, what's going on? You've got George Clooney, you understand that this stuff is in here, but you're just like, this is not good. Also, because it failed, it ruined my chances at seeing a Tron 3.
Yeah,
Which-
it did.
That's
Pissed
reason
me off,
enough
yeah.
to put on this list.
Yeah.
Disney's basically said that like they're gonna just stick to the things that have like made them money.
Yeah,
And
so
they
we're not
nixed
getting a Tron
Tron.
3.
Yeah, the next Tron 3. Well, because they don't need Tron 3.
Well, I really
They got
wanted
all the
tomorrow.
Marvel
I need
properties.
Tron 3.
They got all
So
they got Star
preview of
Wars.
her touching that like button and then it
Yeah.
like changing everything around her, and that was really
Like,
interesting.
That
like,
whole scene, yeah, absolutely. Like, I love that. And, like, she's in there, but then all of a sudden you just realize, oh, this is not even 7 minutes of the entire movie. And then that's done. And then you get to Tomorrowland and you're like, okay, this is,
Was it just boring?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like they build
Lacking.
up this whole thing about how, you know, this one kid's gonna save the world or something like that, or save Tomorrowland, and then there's a little bit of glitch in there, and you're like, oh, this, you know, because George Clooney's the whole reason he's wanting to do something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
Isn't it like they've got a device that says the world's gonna go to shit?
Oh, yeah, the
the
world's
little
gonna
girl
end,
shows
yeah.
up and breathes air, and they're like, the device goes, well, maybe not.
yeah, like it's got like a fraction of a percent that there's actually, because George Clooney's machine says 100% without a doubt the world will end, right? And then the girl comes by and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, wait, maybe not. So then he bases all this. But when you get there, the back and forth between the bad guy and the good guy wasn't really
Who
that
was
good.
the bad guy in that one? Do you remember?
You were the bad
George
guy.
Clooney as well.
And this movie was showing how much he hated you.
But it was just, I mean, I was so disappointed for Tomorrowland. Like, I don't know. I probably shouldn't have even expected much. But at the same time,
It's based off a ride.
Yeah, but
movies based off of
like
ride,
when
man.
you don't have anything really.
Oh,
to
his
base
house. It was Hugh Laurie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like I could go on. It just
So what's the okay? Is that the second one? Is that the one?
Yes.
Wow.
What's your third one?
the third one on my list was
He's very
Ridiculous
verbose.
6. Because I watched
Alright.
it just
Was what?
Ridiculous
Is
6.
that out?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just
And I mean,
trailer was
Netflix
out.
only movie
like
was
I've
out.
seen bad Adam Sandler movies, but then there's this one.
Pixels.
Yeah, Pixels probably could have
So
easily
you
been
picked Ridiculous 6 over Pixels?
they're about even,
Oh,
honestly.
shite.
Yeah,
Alright.
That's saying something.
I mean, Adam Sandler is not like his stuff's not amazing, but you go from Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison. I mean, these are some pedigree.
Grandma's Boy.
Yeah, grandma. Like these are things that like you watch over and over again. Then you watch this stuff.
But he was the.
He was
it
the production
his.
company.
Oh, was
Yeah.
he?
It's his production
Yeah.
company.
Happy
He was like
Madison.
part of the writing.
Madison.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but then you get a hold of Ridiculous 6, and you're like, okay, this is going to be a fun Western comedy. But it's too ridiculous for its own good. It's too terrible.
Well, his comedy was a '90s thing, and it's still firmly stuck in the '90s.
So maybe you grew up, Ryan, but he did not.
Yeah, apparently not.
It's kind of like he's the Weezer of movies.
I mean, I wish he would do
Except for
more.
Wizard is still good.
Yeah, I wish he would. Wait,
No.
what?
You're lucky this is a movie podcast.
But
No, you're
yeah,
right there. I see
the
what you're
last
saying.
movie I saw him in that I actually liked was Reign Over Me.
Yeah, and it wasn't Adam Sandler in
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah, he was not. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it wasn't
Reign Over
even
Me was
his.
good, though.
Yeah,
I like Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, Punch Drunk Love wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
it was
Okay, so
every
I
romantic comedy
watched
ever.
Pixels, and there came to the scene where he was interacting with Michelle Moynihan, who's hot. And I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, this is so terrible. I turned it off, but then I was still like, Michelle Moynihan's hot. So I went and found a movie with her and what's this?
Chris Evans.
Yeah, her and Captain America are in a movie called Keep Playing It Cool. It's a silly, funny rom-com thing. And I watched that over Pixels because I had to turn it off. It was just so terrible.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's my worst.
Your bottom three, Roby.
My bottom three are going to sound similar on some things. Jupiter Ascending also made my list as
Because it was
as
fucking
bad.
awful.
It was bad. It was horrible. Mostly, I think one of the I could have forgiven them a lot of things, but Eddie Redmayne and his like horrible, god awful acting with
That
his
voice, yeah,
with his voice was just driving me crazy the whole time. Like I can't take you seriously, bro.
yeah.
And I wanted to enjoy it because I thought the CGI was pretty spectacular overall,
It was.
and that I love their like spaceships and how like they were all weird and cool looking, but like
Victorian.
yeah, Channing Tatum and his whole storyline about being like
Half dog.
part wolf boy, whatever he was, like it was awful. Like I only remember that he was half dog because they kept mentioning it throughout the movie. Because otherwise, he did nothing to remind me that he was like part dog.
Right.
I mean, nothing. He didn't even have like canines really.
Kinda.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, but not really.
It was definitely kinda.
And otherwise, you would have forgotten he was part dog, but they kept reminding you.
Looks like a gay alien.
So that one on my list as well. Terminator Genesis, management to my list.
Oh dear.
Because that movie was just god awful. I'm starting to believe that like Emilia Clarke is not a good actress. Because other than sitting here in Game of Thrones, I don't like anything that she's in. And Arnold was just sad, although sad, Arnold was the best part of this movie. Like he was bad, I thought, but he was the best part of this movie. We could talk about Jai Courtney forever because that guy's god awful.
Yeah,
why does
this
he get
guy
roles?
being put into like terrible action remakes? Wasn't he like Bruce Willis's son in?
Yes, in Die Hard
Blood from a
5,
Stone.
the well is empty. Yeah.
Which they're returning to.
Yes, they're gonna do one more Die
Yeah.
Hard movie.
Basically,
They're collecting the condensation.
Die Hard
on
5: The
stuff.
Well Is Empty was not an appropriate title,
Right.
right?
It's Die Hard 5. We're digging up dust. And then my third movie on the list is Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Because Fantastic was so god awful. If they had let Josh Trank shoot his movie
It's gonna be bad.
and If they had let Josh Trank shoot his movie, bro, we're trying to record here. All your side commentary about things that we're seeing on TV are not helping out.
That's fine. The mic's not picking it up.
Yeah, it is.
Probably.
But, so, if they let Josh Trank release his movie,
Yeah.
and it had come out as like a weird sort of body horror Fantastic Four movie, it would have been bad, but it would not have made my list.
It would have been less bad.
Yeah,
Like,
it would not have made my
considerably.
list of worst movies. There would have been something that was worse than it on my list. But, I mean, I probably would have seen an Adam Sandler movie. I skipped all the Adam Sandler movies this year, so
Yeah.
I can't include any of them on my list.
That's
Right.
smart.
That's not
But-
a well-rounded thing to do.
No, it is. It is.
It's a healthy thing to do. Though.
Right. So, but the obvious studio reshoots at the end were like, you could clearly see that Kate Mara's hair was obviously a wig because it was obviously a very different color than it was like 2 minutes ago. Whatever they did with Doctor Doom was horrible. All of the action at the end was bad.
Is that who that was supposed to be?
That was supposed to be Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Are you certain?
I'm positive. I'm positive they intended that to be Doctor Doom.
It was
hate
really
having
nothing.
Detroit.
At all
Nothing like Dr.
nothing
Doom.
like Doctor Doom, granted. But
Oh my
they
gosh.
definitely intended to be Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my 3 movies for the worst movies of the year.
Yeah, my 3 or the mix of both of yours. It obviously starts off with Terminator Genesis. That was
It was
not
just
good.
god awful.
It was just not good. And at least though, amongst the bottom 3, it's I would say the least offensive of
Yeah.
the 3, because it was just bad in a regular bad way.
Right.
It's like the acting bad, action bad. It's just bad.
Yeah.
You know. But then these other ones are actually just purely offensive. Next goes Pixels. I started that movie
Yeah.
and never finished it.
That's a pretty heavy indictment.
Yeah, I don't generally.
You can go up and walk out, bro. You
Yeah,
can always
yeah.
walk
I
out.
know, but
Demand your money back. This movie is shit.
I generally never like just stop watching a movie in the middle.
Right.
It's generally not my thing. I don't think it's a very but I couldn't finish this. I just could not finish it. It was painful. And I guess in addition to the fact that like it is taking all of my fun video game memories and then just shitting on them makes it offensive to me.
That's fair.
Like
That's fair.
Personally offensive.
personally offensive.
Right.
And for a similar reason, Fantastic or Fantastic Four makes the top of my list as worst movies of all time. And that is mostly because it does this, I mean, everything we just talked about. And it takes, I think some of the cooler, I always thought the Fantastic Four in the comic books were pretty cool.
Yeah.
And just fucks it up so royally.
Yeah.
It's really hard to understand they fucked it up that badly.
Right. And in before somebody tells me that it's just because Johnny Storm was black, that's not it. I thought Michael B. Jordan was the best person in fucking Fantastic.
Yeah.
Although he did the
really
best
was.
job, hands down,
Yeah.
of everyone else.
No, he
He was the best one.
got, just a little unlucky. But the only reason why I don't have Jupiter Ascending on this list, because it does belong somewhere on the worst movies
Right.
of 2015
Right. If
list.
we went up to 5, it'd probably be on the list.
It would be on the list.
Yeah.
It's because I did really like the CG for it. I thought
rapey.
it was yes, it was irapey. It was a beautiful movie, and I liked some of the base ideas behind the plot, like the whole idea that like they are they deal in life literally. Like
Right.
that was a really cool concept. I thought. It just fell flat on its face in every other.
Yeah. Well, it was also like, I think horribly underused
It really was.
and underexplained the whole thing. Like, they didn't have to really explain it in detail, but it just didn't really seem to be that important. Like, we didn't have that feeling it was that important.
Well, and there's a lot of characters actually in that movie, and a lot of forgettable characters at that.
Yeah.
Like the mercenaries were around for reasons.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who cares?
Right.
Like-
You know why?
why can she control bees?
Because Bee's no royalty, dude. And
She's a queen.
Yeah, but
she's
you
a
don't see
queen
Queen Elizabeth
reborn.
walking around England doing this with bees.
She wasn't not really a real queen, bro.
Oh, excuse
Not
me.
a queen of the universe.
She's not a space queen.
Basically, it
If
was
she were a
like
space queen,
it was the worst. Like honestly, it was one of those stupidest lines in the movie. That was.
Why
really
does he have
well
so
done.
many bees in his house? Like, I never understood that. Like, when they go
home
there...
security.
So they can know.
I just made some shit up.
stuff out of his butt.
I just
Don't
made
look
some
at
shit
it
up,
like he's a
dude. Like-
credible source.
It's just like, oh, what the hell? Like, you walk into the house and there is hives everywhere.
Everywhere.
I would be a little uncomfortable being anywhere near this house. Now, if
Right.
it's home security, then bravo, but come on, dude.
I don't know. if
Like, what
that's
happens when
it
you
is or
accidentally
not.
sit down on a bee and they're all, all the pheromones kick off because then you just attacked one of them, then they swarm your ass.
Yeah. I don't know.
You've
Because
given
bees
this too
do
much
that.
thought.
Yeah.
I love your amount of energy.
Okay,
It's frustrating.
So-
I need to know why.
the next thing are these are singular categories.
Wait, I got one.
Well, oh, you do for worst.
Train wreck.
Okay.
Train wreck was terrible. If they had replaced Amy Schumer and put a guy in there, it'd have still been bad. So it's not like a sexist female comedian stink or anything like that. The movie didn't make you feel anything for the main character. She wasn't a good person or a changed person at any point in the process. She didn't go from being like that lovingly slobby loser who cleans up his act and gets the girl in the end all in a funny way with a funny monologue or whatever. She's just a bitch throughout the entire movie, and in the end, she stays a bitch. The best
But
thing
does
about
she
that
get the
movie
guy?
was John Cena. I honestly don't remember. I didn't care. She might have got the guy.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. So
Me either.
Attack on Titan, the live.
Oh no! Excellent point.
Excellent choice.
Excellent point.
Oh my
Oh
god.
god, that movie was so bad.
Yeah.
So
I was
bad.
good for the first 15 minutes. I was like, okay.
Okay, just
this
in
might
case.
be right.
Just in case
Right.
we didn't get it on the recording, it was Attack on Titan, the live action version of it
Right.
from out of Japan.
Yes.
Because we kind of jumped on top of like agreements with you.
Right.
But yeah, that movie was terrible.
Oh, I can't wait for the second part.
Yeah, and it's not done being terrible.
Yeah.
Part two. There's gonna be a
Right.
part two, but it's just more awful than the cup.
Oh man.
I still have to somehow finish the first one.
The first movie, like the honest to God, when the like shining light in your movie is a girl who just wants to eat potatoes. There's something
And-
seriously wrong with your movie.
But they kept Potato Girl alive, so
Yes.
I will commend that. Like that was my favorite part. Like
Well,
okay, Potato Girl's
They
alive.
can't kill Potato Girl yet because she's not. They actually didn't kill anybody that isn't already dead in the anime, I believe.
Right.
They
Did
kept.
you see they yellow washed it?
That's,
Yeah, we had a.
in the end, it's called rice washing.
It's called rice washing. Mr. Racist. Okay.
Right.
I thought whitewashing was and then yellow washing was just the
No.
No.
rice. How is rice any less offensive?
It's
No,
not. It's
it's
more
not.
offensive.
That's the point.
Oh, okay. I'm doing it wrong. I need to be doing it better.
Yes.
My apologies
No,
for my
the point is
ineptitude.
that is an amazingly offensive term created by a bunch of shitlords who have way too
Yes.
much privilege.
Right. Rice washing from people on the internet who were like, because in the anime, like, there's only one.
We all shitlords with privilege.
Nope.
There's only
Not
one.
me.
You have half privilege.
Nope.
That's more than enough. In the anime, there's only one Japanese person alive in the world. I don't remember what her name is now.
Mikasa.
Mikasa, yes. Mikasa! But she's the only one alive. In the anime, when you watch it all the time, people are yelling Mikasa all the time.
Right.
So, and everyone else is like German or European of some sort or whatever. So, when they cast the movie in Japan to make it, though, they just cast Japanese people in it. So everyone was all like, hey, those people are white. How come they're being cast as yellow people? That's fucked up. Why would you do that?
Here's Klaus.
We
Right.
number 7.
And here's Mikael.
They literally had people like that. Like, those are their names. So, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was bad. I honestly couldn't even go into all the reasons why it was bad in this one cast. It would take multiple casts.
The giant baby was a good reason, I think, alone.
That
How
terrified
about the
me just to
random
lie.
Japanese man who doesn't exist in the anime at all,
Yeah.
just throwing Titans around like they were made of paper?
Yeah.
Oh right.
That was
Yes.
so ridiculous. I'm like, why are the Titans even a freaking threat? You got this guy right.
This guy, right? Yeah, and the like old drunk guy that they had to throw into the movie to be like guide these young kids through all their tough decisions and hard times or whatever.
Right.
Good to see you're still around. Like I was like, oh good God, where's this guy from? Get him out of here.
Alright.
So bad. No, that's an excellent choice, Kaylee.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up.
It's fun.
Do we want to do mentions? Honorable mentions, things that didn't quite make the list that we still want to
Well, we have other categories we're going into.
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Okay.
mhm.
Yeah.
The next category is most entertaining. It doesn't have to be the best movie you've seen. It doesn't even need to be a good movie. Just the one that you
Right.
enjoyed watching the most.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you start, Mo? Do you have one?
Shoot, I didn't have one prepared.
Okay,
but I
no,
would
okay.
probably say
Then we'll go with-
Bone Tomahawk.
Oh,
was
it's
one
Bone
that
Tomahawk?
blew me away the most.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, Tom was really great.
I think, in that aspect, if we're looking at like that particular category,
Yeah.
it's going to be a toss between Star Wars and Avengers Ultron, with Avengers leaning more towards the high, just because it was more action and more like, yeah. So
Avengers then?
yeah,
Ultron?
Avengers,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I also went with Avengers: Age of Ultron. I'm a comic book nerd, and I loved the so many scenes in there are like comic books come to life. Like the scene in the beginning where they're starting off the attack on the base or whatever, like that they're invading, and like you see all six of them coming from one side of the screen or whatever at the same time. It's like straight off the cover of a
Yeah.
comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the end when they're all trying to defend the one button or
Dude,
whatever.
that was awesome.
And it was literally like a comic book double page brought to life in front of you or whatever. It was great. And so for me, that was my most entertaining part because I love those scenes.
Those cinematic scenes were actually really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Star Wars, The Force Awakens. I didn't think Star Wars was that strong as a movie. I thought it was like a 6 or 7, honestly, as a movie. I didn't think, but god damn, I loved watching that movie.
yeah. Oh yeah. I
Like-
want to go back and watch it 100 times.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I enjoyed the dog fights, the saber fights, the Daisy Ridley, all of it.
Yeah.
Like, all the characters, the humor was fantastic, but a lot of it I realized played to me as a fanboy. It wasn't there. It might have been a better movie with a lot less of that stuff, but a lot of it was there to play to me as a fanboy, and I realized that I loved it, but I knew that it wasn't good as a movie because of it.
Right.
For a lot, that's not the only problems it had, but it had a few others. But really enjoyed watching it. I would love to watch that movie like 100 more times.
Yeah.
But yeah. Did you have one? Most enjoyable.
Most enjoyable?
Yeah, most enjoyable.
Paul Blart Mall Car.
I think I still have to go with Mad Max.
Get outta here.
Because I've never sat in the theater and actually felt myself like at the edge of my seat, just like tensing. Actually tensing my body, like just anticipating what's gonna happen next, and like literally telling myself, "Hey, calm down," so you're not like stuck in this position.
Right. It was. I don't know. Yeah, I can see that being at the top as well.
Yeah.
But all right. Next category. Oh, most overrated.
Yes, the most overrated movie.
Star Wars.
Oh, that's low.
See, I don't know why you didn't enjoy Star Wars. I disagree with you.
I think I fell for the hype. That's the problem. Like I wanted it to be new
you
and
wanted
great
to
and
be like-
exciting, and it was more like old and not great and sort of exciting. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Star Wars overrated. I can actually see that. I mean, there was a lot of hype there. Doesn't necessarily mean it was bad. It just means that it was overrated, and I can see that being the case.
It's just so damn recycled. Everything about it felt recycled. If they'd have done like one or two nods to the old thing, like turning on the chess set or whatever, that'd have been fine. But instead, they're like, here's Death Star 2.0. But now it's a whole planet.
It's Death Star
We're not
3.0.
gonna- We're not
Yeah,
going to
They already recycled the Death Star before.
He jumps in
The
immediately.
Death Star's already been recycled.
Right. 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times.
But that's what evil empires do. They keep trying the same thing because they keep throwing the same money
Bullshit.
into the same things. No,
What are they,
absolutely.
Republicans?
Yes, they're fucking Nazis, and that's what Nazis do. They build world-destroying devices.
They build time machines
Nazis
and live
build
on the moon
world-destroying devices. That's what they
ride
do.
dinosaurs.
They only have one weapon, and that's fear. And there's nothing more fear-inducing than destroy your whole fucking planet.
Or solar system in this.
Or, in this case, every planet in your solar system.
Well, I like how in this movie though, like when they did fire the gun, the rest of the universe realized shit just got real.
Right.
We had to
Because
do
they didn't
now.
just stroll quietly over next to your planet
Right.
and blow it up. They were like, we're going to be way out here and blow your shit up over
From
there.
another system, we're blowing your shit up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I agree it was a little bit recycled, but that's what evil empires do.
No. Not
You know what I mean? That's what.
There's so many
what
other
else-
ways to rule the universe.
No. Hell, how was going to mind control? Are we going to do a mind control movie?
You're defending the planet-destroying plot that's been used already?
Yep.
Twice before in the same series.
I just
Yeah.
want something new. I hope
Okay.
that now that they've gotten this out of the way, they'll
Out of
give
their
us
system. Yeah.
new
I think-
stuff.
I
New
think-
content in 2016, new content in 2017. I mean, don't they have a couple of movies
Well, Rogue
in the
One comes
pipeline
out in
already?
2016, like May or no,
Yeah.
December of this year is May.
I think that's really what the
Rogue
point
One.
was. They've specifically said, JJ has said, and some of the head honchos at Disney have said, like, this movie was made for the fans. Like, that's how we wanted to kick this off. And so it sounds like they have other plans for the following movies. And if it makes you feel any better, Mo, Roby's wrong. You're right.
You're the same guy who said you loved Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. It's the same movie. It's literally the exact same movie as 4, and as 3, and as 2, and as 1.
No, false.
So
the
wait,
first Mission
now-
Impossible was
now- wait.
different than
I'm just saying, you can't use that defense.
You were using
You can't
this
say it's
argument-
too recycled and then be like, I love Mission Impossible Rogue Nation because it was new and
You
exciting.
were using this argument
Or whatever.
I
like
loved
way
it.
too much.
He did too. Earlier when we were talking about it,
He said he
loved
liked it.
I liked it.
Alright.
I'll watch the Mission Impossible movies. I mean, why do you watch your zombie? Well, no, not a zombie. What's the one with Multipass and the Apocalypse and
Oh,
Resident
Resident Evil? Because they're horrible.
yeah.
Because they're awful.
But it's
and
all
I
the same fucking
embrace
shit.
how awful they are. Yeah. But they're watching because they're going to be awful. I'm like, oh my god, this is so awful. And I love awful movies.
But
That's why I watch Resident Evil.
wait, so you have for overrated? Wait, who already went for the overrated?
Just Moroni.
Yeah.
You did. Oh, okay. I thought somebody else said something about
Yeah,
that.
you start off with Star Wars.
Oh, I did shout out. Yeah,
Okay, so
Sure,
what
we
was your
talked about
most
Star
overrated?
Wars.
we needed to talk about Star Wars anyway.
It'll come
Had to be done.
multiple times.
Yeah.
It
We
has,
already had an entire
we're not done?
podcast on it.
Most
Going back
to it again.
overrated. I had The Martian as the most overrated.
Oh,
Because while I enjoyed The Martian, I didn't think it was worth all that much hype. I thought it got a lot more
But-
praise than it deserved.
but Matt Damon.
Really? Okay.
I didn't think Matt Damon did a good job in it,
Yeah,
but I didn't think it deserved as much hype as it got.
fair enough. Ryan. most overrated.
Most overrated? Probably Ant-Man. For me.
Yeah, you thought it was overrated?
Yeah, I thought everybody thought it was going to be this amazing film, and then it just had too many failures throughout the thing that I'm just like, no. No.
I thought it was fun.
I mean, yeah, it was fun,
I thought
but
it was
like,
going to be an amazing movie.
a lot of people thought it
Who'd
was
you
going to be
talk
an amazing
to?
movie. Not you two.
You don't have other friends.
Yeah.
Nobody thought. I'd say Ant-Man was maybe underrated because it coming out after because all the delays and Edgar Wright being attached for half of it and then rewriting it halfway through, getting rid of Edgar Wright. I don't think anybody had high expectations for Ant-Man when it came out.
That's just me.
It's fair.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
your personal. Yeah, it's your personal
Yeah.
choice. It doesn't have to reflect what other people said.
Right.
I have kind of two for this. I have my personal thought, and then one that is probably technically more overrated. So my personal most overrated flick is Jurassic World.
Yeah, I should have used that one.
Okay.
That's a fair
Yeah.
point.
That movie was not great. It was fun, whatever, pseudo enjoyable,
Talk
but
about
it
recycled
was not
content.
great.
Right?
But it is. I mean, it was a lot of people just all over the place. This is the best movie ever, and I'm like, no.
No, it's
It made a
not.
shit goddamn ton of money
It
too.
made a ton of money.
Yeah.
People loved that, but it
Yeah.
was not great. It had a lot of just kind of pointless stuff in it. I don't know. I didn't like it that much. Now, I think that one that is probably technically more overrated is Terminator Genesis, specifically in the Chinese market.
Bad. The Chinese market loves robots.
Yeah.
If you put a robot in your goddamn movie, they're going to eat it up.
Well, I think a lot of them are just like, I have no idea what these guys are saying. I don't give a shit. This is sweet.
Right.
But but it made a ridiculous amount of money. in the
It made
Chinese
enough
market.
money in the Chinese market for them to think about making another one.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The Chinese market held that much sway.
Dude,
that
the
they're gonna...
Chinese market
The
has
Chinese
bigger
market's going to be
sway
bigger than
the
America before
yeah, the
long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
because we keep sending a lot of jobs over there.
Well, as far as movies go or whatever, like
Yeah.
as far as
That's
who
why they can
puts the
afford to
money-
do that. It's because of the rising middle class over there, because of all the jobs that America's shipping over there.
but the
It's turning into global politics.
it is smack you for it. The
Deathgasm, guys, deathgasm.
on the same note, an interesting note. A lot of people were talking about how Star Wars is starting to slow down a little bit in the box, and it's not really slowing down, but it is kind of slowing down. And how like, oh, it's probably not going to beat Avatar's 2.7 billion. But the thing to remember is it hasn't released yet in China.
Yeah.
Like the other huge market that exists, it hasn't even released yet, and so there's a really good chance that it's going to just win. It's just going to be it's gonna easily pass it.
Yeah.
It might not, but it hasn't.
It's got
hasn't
robots in
released
it.
Yeah.
So
Don't autoplay, don't.
But the yeah. So let's get on to the next category here. Underrated, most underrated.
I have Bone Tomahawk as my most underrated movie of
Okay.
the year.
Yeah.
I also watched Bone Tomahawk. It was fantastic. Very enjoyable. The witty dialogue, like, I wouldn't say it was like Tarantino-esque dialogue, but it was like a Tarantino movie in that the dialogue was super important to the overall movie. And
You're killing me, Mo.
I got no control over that. I just wanted to see how much.
you don't gotta be doing this. You got control over whether you went to this website or not.
Okay, so Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah, for the reasons that we're talking about. Because again, how the dialogue was great, and I loved the like brutal action at the end. Like, because a lot of people are gonna complain that the action's like hard to see and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. It's like people are getting ambushed, and so you don't see where the arrow comes from. Yeah, you don't know. That's the point. It's called a fucking ambush, dude.
Right.
So, but it is so brutal, like how quickly people die. It's very realistic in that sense as well.
All right, Ryan, do you have a most underrated?
Man from Uncle.
Oh,
And for Mole's an excellent choice
that's
as
an
well.
excellent choice, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, all I had to know when I heard about it is that it was based off a TV show that Archer gets what Archer is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'm watching it. But I mean, you didn't really hear that much about it, and even when it came out, you didn't really hear that much about it. But like, it was a good movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice generic fun movie. Like you didn't need to know a lot beforehand going in. It's not
Right.
like you needed to.
Yeah,
be-
I didn't have to watch seasons of show to get an idea of what was going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Mo? Do you have an underrated one?
I think The Last Witch Hunter
Oh, that's a good
was
choice.
underrated. I
I think,
really enjoyed that one. I like
It was
Vin
pretty
Diesel.
good.
You throw him in a movie, I'm going to give it a shot, whether it's good or not.
Oh, he's hit and miss.
But this one, I think this one really was a hit.
I actually agree. I really enjoyed The Last Witcher. It surpassed my expectations in that it was like slightly above average. You know?
There was enough in it that made you go,
Yeah.
all right.
I
But
could have without Elijah Wood in this whole movie. He has absolutely
Yeah.
0 point. He does fucking nothing.
True, but it's
He
got
means
Rose,
nothing whatsoever.
Rose Leslie in it.
It does have Rose Leslie in it, and that's
that makes
a
up
nice
for
thing.
it for the most part, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, Elijah Wood is like his character's absolutely without any value whatsoever.
Yeah.
And every scene with this character is without value.
That was the glaring like issue with the entire movie was Elijah Wood's character and just how unnecessary he was.
Could have been done without.
Yeah. Kenny, did you have one?
I think American Ultra was.
Also a really good choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I mean, it didn't get a lot of pomp.
You
Well,
didn't
and
really.
it died at the box office.
Did it?
Oh,
It got
not-
murdered at the box
it
office.
did not do well
It
at
made
all.
I
nothing.
thought it super delivered, though. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah.
wow.
It lost it lost to Hitman Agent 47 at the box office when it came out.
Well, I mean, it only has a
Fun
6.1 rating on IMDb.
Yeah.
That's criminal.
That's because a lot of people are silly. They don't realize that it's actually a fantastic movie.
Now, do you think that because Kristen Stewart's name's on this, that killed it?
That's what I was wondering.
I'm being honest.
No.
Yeah.
I seriously think people are prejudiced of the fact of like, oh, that person's in it. I don't want to see it.
Well, it might be because I'll be entirely frank.
I like Eisenberg.
The night that I like Eisenberg as well. But the night that we went to see it,
to go see Eisenberg, or do you spend $10 to like
the Nazis do it.
the night we went to see it, you're like, okay, it's American Ultra, and it's about stoners. I was like, oh, it probably has something to do with the MK Ultra project or whatever And I was like, I don't know if I really want to.
I had to twist his arm a little bit.
She absolutely did. I really didn't want to go out.
I was like, just come on.
So we went, and I was like, wow, this is fantastic. This was really good.
Could it also be like the pop culture was not appealing to enough people?
I think the advertising was really bad for it.
Yeah.
Because they advertised it as a stoner movie.
Yeah.
And it's really not a stoner movie.
It's
it has stoners in it.
Yeah,
But it's not
elements.
Pineapple Express.
It's not a stoner movie.
It's not Dazed and Confused.
It has stoners in it, but it's not a
It has a
stoner
movie that has stoners in it, but it's not a stoner movie.
Right.
Yeah.
But it
a lot
was
of stoner movies.
There are a ton of them. Stoner culture is popular. So, and writer Max Landis, I've been watching a lot of stuff with him on the internet recently. I can't tell whether I hate this guy or I like this guy sometimes.
Max Landis?
Yeah. He also wrote the he's the writer and director of Chronicle. Writer of Chronicle? He also wrote Victor Frankenstein, which came out recently.
Is Chronicle where the aliens eat brains?
No,
Chronicle's
kids
really,
with superpowers.
Yeah, they find this hole or a cave in the backyard after a little mini earthquake. They go down and it opens up their brain and they get powers. And
Hey, I think I saw that one. It was pretty realistic.
it kind of reminded me
Yeah.
of Akira, but like slightly different. Just because.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really human way to approach the superhero experience.
Right.
if I remember.
He was like writer and director for American Ultra, and when it came out, he said some things about how he was he thought that originality was dead and all that, and everybody on the Twitters, and then of course everyone jumped on his case on the Twitters. I think he's kind of an arrogant asshole sometimes, and that doesn't really bother me so much.
Because you're also an arrogant asshole.
Right, and so I understand, but but sometimes I disagree with his opinions. But regardless, he's a fascinating individual, and
Well, genius is usually accompanied by some kind of powerful personality.
yeah.
So, but
I'll throw you guys some YouTube links to check out to watch stuff he does, because he also is writing a Superman comic line, I think, at the moment,
oh, is he?
called Red Sun,
Oh, yeah.
where Superman's pod lands in Russia and not in Kansas,
Oh.
and so he becomes Russian Superman,
Okay.
and for the motherland instead, and it changes
Oh.
it changes how history plays out.
Cool.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Sounds interesting.
Just thinking about that.
My most underrated movie is It Follows.
Yeah.
I thought that was, and it's not. I'm not gonna say it's not so much underrated in the sense that a lot of people shat on it. Honestly, I don't know what people's opinion of it is, and that's why it's underrated for me. Is because very few people actually saw it.
Yeah.
And that's because it wasn't it wasn't a highly produced movie. It wasn't a highly advertised movie either.
Yeah, well, it was an indie flick.
It was an indie flick, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
So-
think I knew until Roby said he saw it. And I was like, once he said what it was about, I was like, well, this sounds pretty interesting. He's like, I'll watch it again. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but it was actually really excellent. It was really, really good, and I think it deserved more than it got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horror films rarely hold up on the second viewing, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I think It Follows did, for me anyway.
Oh, for me as well. Again, there's a lot of nuances and little things you notice.
Right. Because the second time around, I was looking even harder, paying less attention to other things, and looking even harder
Yeah.
for where's it going to be at?
Right.
Where's it
and
going to be at? 'Cause I
still-
know it's coming somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe I can notice it sooner this time if I'm paying more attention.
Whenever it was the giant guy, it always got me every time.
every time.
Oh,
I knew it was
Every
coming.
time,
I
dude.
knew that there was this big giant gonna walk down the hall, but every time I was like, "Holy shit, that's a big ass man."
It is a giant dude.
But all right, let's move on here. We have a few more categories we can go into. I don't think we need to
Let's just do best action scene and then call it good.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. As a couple
How long
of time,
have we
I
been
guess.
going?
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Yeah, we got some
Okay.
time. Okay, so best action, Roby, go. We'll just make this nice and sweet.
My best action scene was the It Follows pool scene.
Oh.
I really enjoyed the scene because I think it really set the tone of the movie. It really captured the tone of the movie in general, and this sort of like watching her try and swim out of the way as like no one else can see what's going on. There's so much confusion and craziness going on, and her like helplessness of being like stuck in the middle of the pool while like this crazy ghost thing is running around throwing TVs and typewriters and stuff at her while she's in the pool or whatever, and her best friend, like the guy who's in love with her or whatever, is like shooting randomly at stuff. It hits her sister or whatever. It was crazy. I really enjoyed it.
Ryan, best action.
All right. I was going to go Mad Max, but the entire movie is action.
Right.
So I'm going to do protecting the bomb in Avengers Ultra, like when they're in the church. Because, like he said, it was a common... You had all the superheroes working together. They were doing everything. They were helping each other out while at the same time protecting this one thing. And it's so awesome to see them go from that then into Civil War. So,
Mo, do you have one?
Sicario.
Okay.
There's a scene at the end with what's his bucket? Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del
He's kind of
Toro.
interrogating the main bad guy, and he makes it so intense. Like it's not a huge like bust him up explosions kind of thing, but the intensity from the scene and how you know that he has all the power, but this guy doesn't give a crap, and it's really good.
Really good.
It's a great scene.
Kelly?
It's not really action, so I don't think it's really...
Oh, what was it?
It's actually from the Magic Mike 2 movie.
That's action. Whatever kind of action.
She's blushing now, viewers.
We didn't specify what kind of action.
Right.
Well, it's kind of a funny moment that kind of goes with it, because there's a joke about as far as like boy bands and all this, and so one of the guys gets kind of dared to do a off the cuff dance and try to impress a girl that he just laid eyes on. So he walks into this gas station store and is looking at the tenant, and they're like, the first song that comes on, you gotta work it out. So he's used to stripper music, the bump and grind, and then like this little slow dance Backstreet Boys song comes on, and somehow he makes it happen. Like, so it cracked me up the entire time. So it was just like, how did you do that? How did they pull that off?
Best action scene for me, hands down, Kingsman, the church fight scene.
Oh, yes.
How was
Excellent choice.
So
Excellent
good.
choice, man.
I don't even need to say anymore. Just go watch it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go quickly. What do you think was the best actor? Who put the best performance?
I got Henry Rollins, and He Never Dies.
You are a copier, because I also have that.
Well, you asked me first, so I get to be first.
Damn
to
it.
copy me.
All right.
He just so perfectly nailed spoilers. He's Kane. If you've seen the trailer, you've seen
Cayenne.
Cayenne. My name's Cayenne. But he perfectly nails that, like, what you think somebody would be like if they'd been on Earth for like hundreds and hundreds of years and had seen literally everything. And he just doesn't give a shit about anything anymore, and he nails it so well, I think.
Well, yeah, he nails he's just doing things to try them out.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna stop eating human flesh
Yeah.
to try it out.
Yeah.
He is so amazingly apathetic and intense at the same time. It's perfect.
Yes.
It's so well done.
Yeah.
But, okay, Ryan, best actor.
Charlize Theron in Mad Max.
Excellent choice. I think that also just mostly speaks for itself. Like,
Yeah.
Furiosa was...
Her character was, it's a hard character to even use, because you have a character who has to be mean and angry in a wasteland world, but still has to be able to deliver as a good actor, and she did.
Yeah, well, yeah, mean and angry, and yet, like...
Soft and...
caring,
wonderful.
and it's a really fine line, so it was good. All right, Kaylee, best actor?
I have to go with John Leguizamo in American Ultra.
All right.
Please don't.
John Cena in Trainwreck. He was the best part of the movie.
Are you John Cena us right now? Is that what you're doing?
Or Kurt Russell. I also saw The Hateful Eight.
Oh.
Kurt Russell was amazing in that.
Okay.
I'm going to be seeing that
We can go with Kurt
probably.
Russell.
If you had the Hateful Eight and Bone Tomahawk,
All right,
it's a good resume this year.
best actress.
I got Charlize Theron.
Okay.
And it's Furiosa
I mean,
and Mad Max.
I suppose it doesn't really matter. Actor or actress, we can go with what we
Right.
said, I think.
I still got John Cena.
Best story.
Shit.
Hold on. I'll put something down for this, I think.
I'll go first then.
Go ahead.
I actually did The Martian. I really like that story a lot.
I'll go with you on that one.
I think it was really fantastic. It's a very interesting ride, and it's just a very interesting tale. And to be able to have to deal with like the problems and the complications and like just trying to survive, really, really good.
By yourself on an area that has no life.
Right.
It's just wasteland.
It was like much better than that one movie that where he got stuck on an island.
Castaway?
Castaway.
Yes.
It was like a good version of Castaway. Yeah.
Who was it that did the math to see how much money America has spent to try to go rescue and save Matt Damon?
Matt Damon, yeah. Stop sending Matt Damon places.
Right.
Did the math.
It's costing us billions.
I got Sicario for best story.
Oh, okay.
Because the overall like arching storyline or whatever really I think drives home excellent points about the drug war in general, and on top of it there was an interesting story about Emily Blunt. Is that who that was? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Emily Blunt's like personal story is also really good. I don't want to say too much without spoiling it, but
that works. Okay. Let's see. Best story. Did you have one, Ryan?
Best story?
Yeah.
Ryan's is Alvin and the Chipmunks, the road trip.
No.
You just can't believe those crazy chipmunks.
It's not probably the best story out there, but I really enjoyed it. Was Maggie.
Okay.
That was a nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
really
good
enjoyed
choice.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not what you would expect out of an auto film, and I thought the little girl from Zombieland really delivered. And it was the story itself. I mean, it was just
We need
it was
more
sad,
of that.
and it was nice
Zombieland.
because it didn't get better. It is what it is.
Yeah. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, Mo.
Hateful Eight.
Okay, that's. I want to say that's an excellent choice. I don't know yet.
Right.
I'm hoping to agree with you soon.
You'll find out soon enough, or we could give a mention to like the Ex Machina movie.
Oh, Ex Machina is an excellent choice.
Seems like
Yeah.
pretty good.
That's an excellent choice.
The
Yeah,
original.
Ex Machina's one thing that we all really enjoyed that we haven't touched on yet.
but I think that easily couldn't be best story. Gillian?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with the Hunger Games just because it finished out this year. So being able to see the whole story as a whole was kind of nice to finally end
Just
it.
get it all finished up.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it with Battle Royale. Just saying.
Whatever. Okay.
Teach his own.
Worst plot line. So, but basically, worst story.
I'm gonna go with Jupiter Ascending
Oh God! Quit copying me.
because just none of it made any goddamn sense.
Yeah.
In reality. Like they couldn't link the things in any way, shape, or form that made me like care about what was going on.
Yeah, like
Or really give a shit about anything.
it was really annoying because it was like a good setting, really terrible plot and storyline.
Correct. Yeah.
Just really bad. Okay, Ryan, worst.
Tomorrowland.
Okay.
I mean, this is gonna be a cop of just my worst movies, but
Yeah. Just Mo,
Worst story?
worst story.
I don't know.
Oh,
Pixels.
Star Wars.
just say it. You want to say The
Pixels?
Force
Okay.
Awakens.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Pixels.
Say it.
I want to say Trainwreck again. Just keep
Right.
that movie.
All right, Kayleen.
I'm gonna have to go with Tokyo Tribe.
Oh, okay. I think that's not technically a 2015 movie.
I think it is.
Is it?
I think it was technically released last year.
If
Well,
not,
I
it's
mean,
right
you-
on the cuff.
Okay,
It's
we'll say
right on the
Tokyo
cuff.
Tribe. That's fine by
Yeah.
me. It was really
Oh, dear
like
God.
when you find out.
No, 2014.
Oh,
We're-
I'm a year
we're-
behind.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
that was pretty bad though. Like if you,
Shit, dude.
But
it
it's at
wasn't
least worth a watch. I mean, 'cause
until you got to. Well, I don't know.
well, no, U.S.
Hey.
is 2015.
Yeah,
So I
2015 in the U.S. That's fine.
Okay,
we'll allow
2015 in
it.
the US that
We're
works.
gonna allow it.
judges?
Listen.
Well,
The whole. I'm gonna ruin this for you because it doesn't matter. Honest to God.
oh yeah.
But
I'm cool with this.
the whole movie, you're like, this is crazy gang war going on, and you're like, why is it happening? Because one dude saw another dude's cock, and it was bigger than his.
No, that is exactly it. That is the entire reason for the gang war.
And it
Because
caused-
one dude is jealous of the size of another dude's cock.
And it caused a huge gang war between mini gangs, not just a gang.
Yes.
Mini gangs.
Yes.
Christmas.
Yes, he hated love and happiness because that guy's cock was bigger than his.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a line.
So it's a very-
Teeny weenies must die.
Yep.
He's supposed to-
Teeny weenies must die. That's a direct quote from that movie.
Shoot.
Yep.
I'm not look I love horrible, awful movies of that nature. I do. I love them.
This one was 2.
At the end of this one, I did not want to watch it again.
We were all tired, like
Yeah.
physically drained and
You're
tired.
exhausted.
I was emotionally drained just from watching this movie.
We were
I mean-
sitting outside just like,
Definitely, I mean, I don't know. I think it deserves a watch.
Oh yeah, it deserves at
I
least
think it
one
deserves
watch.
a watch just because you need to view the insanity.
No, I think you do. Like
Yeah.
you need to at least see highlights.
Buy it for $1 off of like Amazon Prime.
It's like $5.
It's like
Yeah.
$5 off Amazon Prime.
yeah, Ryan spent that.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Yeah.
he
Ryan.
might still have
Is
it.
it still good? Like I can. borrow that?
I think it's done.
Can we get a
I
rewatch?
think it was like 3 days. I think it might be too
Yeah.
old at this point, but
All right. Quickly, this is our last one. Kind of I don't know. We went up with the best and worst, and now we're like, last category is worst miscast. This is a hard one. Maybe you
yeah,
can come up with it on
I
top of your head.
don't have one
I do.
right here. Okay, what's yours? Go ahead.
Chris Hemsworth in Black Hat.
Excellent. choice.
Okay, I'll give you that.
There's no way in
Cause
hell you'll ever convince me that dude is good with computers
right,
or numbers or words.
yeah.
How about Will Smith in Concussion?
I haven't seen it.
Okay,
I haven't seen it either. I just feel like it's an odd choice.
it's Will Smith trying to get an Oscar, so
That seems like pretty normal Will Smith thing to do.
it's serious Will Smith for a moment. I'm gonna say I forgot what I was gonna say now because I'd make fun of Will Smith.
You mean Wolverine and Pan?
No, Eddie Redmayne in Jupiter Ascending
Okay.
with his like horrible voice and like he didn't appear to like have any idea what he was doing or what he was trying to do with his character. Bad idea.
Ryan?
You're hating on him a lot
Nothing?
in that movie
Kaylee?
tonight.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything.
I want to touch on something Mo just said. Pan. Tiger Lily
I haven't
was
seen-
miscast as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tiger Lily was in the book. She's like 14, I think?
Yeah.
Very young. She's played by Rooney Mara,
Right.
Yeah.
who's
Who
like
was not young.
fucking 40.
I don't think she's 40, but she's old.
Born in 1985. She's
1985.
younger
Okay,
than
so
me.
she's
Yeah.
not as old as I thought she was. Not by a long shot.
But she
still.
ain't 14.
She ain't 14.
No.
And she just looked, I don't know, just looked weird. It was just not.
Wait, who was the kid? Because wasn't the kid opposite?
Everything in this
her?
movie
Like,
looked weird.
Levi Miller's.
Have you
kid?
ever like?
So, yeah, a
did you ever
young kid
listen to the like? There's a Nirvana song that they play.
in this movie?
It's like Smells Like Teen Spirit. Yeah, when we're done with the podcast, we will look it up
Yeah.
and listen to it because
Yeah.
it is weird as free shit. And I'm like, why are they doing this?
Yeah, Hugh Jackman as Blackbeard is
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was also a
Weird
bad
choice.
idea. I
But
think.
anyway. All right, guys. I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Ryan, why don't you take us out?
All right. Well, thanks for coming out tonight. Enjoy episode 71. Check us out at rsgpodcast.com, Random Subject Generator on Facebook, RSG Podcast on Twitter, and I'm forgetting one.
That's good enough, I think.
Yeah. Various other social medias you can probably find us on.
RSG Podcast on YouTube,
Yes, that's it.
which is probably where you're listening to this.
Yeah.
anyways.
So, yeah. Bye.
Bye.